Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching. Today my special guest is Katherine Hanson from c&rlaw, and Katherine's here today to talk to us about settlement agents and what they do. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We also thought we might do a giveaway as well with this video.
That would be exciting. That sounds great.
Yep, so yeah, we'd love you to like the video and share it. I was just saying before to the people in the office, I actually think Katherine looks like Catherine Zeta-Jones, to be honest. If you agree with me, give me the thumbs up on this video. If you don't, let me know who you think she looks like, because I've always said that from the first time I saw her. Really? She looks like Catherine Zeta-Jones. So,
I was hoping for Delta Goodrum.
Oh, okay. But if you agree, yeah, give me the thumbs up. But like and share. What's the giveaway?
I'd love to donate a beautiful bottle of French champagne, Pommery champagne. So anyone who likes the video today and shares it on their page, what should we say? Maybe closing date Friday?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, on Friday. So I'll put the dates up on the actual Facebook page as well. But that would be great, like and share. But for the time being, we'll get back to business, and we're going to talk to you, as I said, about everything settlements. So here we go. So thank you for coming, Katie.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, so we just want to make it quite brief and in layman's terms. A lot of people, especially first home buyers, aren't aware that you need to engage in a settlement agent when you are purchasing and selling a property as well. So we're just going to go over a couple of items that I get asked all the time when I'm at home opens and when I'm sitting down with a offer and acceptance. So first of all, Katie, tell us a bit about c&rlaw, and then what the general job description and role is of a settlement agent.
Yeah, absolutely. So c&rlaw is based in Cockburn Central. So we are a local settlement agent. We do have the backing of the law firm to be in place for any clients who come across any legal issues as we proceed through the settlement process, but we specialise in settlements, so sale and purchase of real estate.
So when I'm sitting down with an offer and acceptance contract, I'm sitting there with the purchaser, and we get to the part where it says, who are you going to use as your settlement agent? A lot of people get a little bit stumped, and they're like, I don't know who to use. How do I find one? How much does it cost? That sort of thing. What is a general transaction for a settlement agent? They've purchased a property, the buyer, and the settlement agent gets the contract. What happens from the date of the settlement agent getting the contract to the day that they get the keys?
Oh, that's a great question. So basically, we take care of the legal side, so the transferring the property from the seller's name to the buyer's name, and we use the contract of sale as our starting point to work out what conditions you need satisfied to be able to get those keys in your hand. So we review the contract from the real estate agent, and we obviously set a timeline of dates. So when your finance is going to be due, when your building report's going to be due, when would you like your termite done? We note down all those dates, and we obviously remind you and prompt you to make sure all the conditions you've noted in your contract you're satisfied with. So that's one part of our job. The next job is to legally put the property into your name from the seller's name. So we would prepare documentation in relation to putting the property into your name. So you'd be signing a PEXA authorisation form, and that would allow us to then sign the transfer document on your behalf, which is a document that basically states who the sellers are, how much you've purchased for or sold for, and the buyer's name, and we would sign that on your behalf. The other things that we do is we obviously deal directly with your banks. So when you've got a seller who's got a mortgage over the title, we would obviously help your seller discharge the mortgage over the loan. And when you're purchasing, you're obviously obtaining finance, so we would obviously be in touch with your bank and making sure they had everything that they needed on their end. So banks are definitely and the main entity that we deal with. We then also deal with running checks on the property. So we deal with the local authorities. So once finance is officially approved, we run our own checks on the property as much as we can.
Council, water.
Yeah, we write to the council, the Water Corp, Office of State Revenue, your strata company if there's someone involved. We pay a fee to those companies to be able to obtain the information from them.
Yeah.
And that gives us what the rates are for the year. That lets us know if there's any special levies that may have been struck on a strata property. It also gives us general information about what you're buying and if there's any approvals. So if you've got a big shed out the back, it should say on the orders and requisitions that there's approval there. So we would send you all of that information for you to review. And then last but not least, we're obviously dealing with the money. So money coming in and money going out. So we would obviously look at your purchase price, and we would add on top of that all your government charges and your settlement fees and your adjustments of rates and taxes. We would then work out how much you're getting a loan for and how much deposit you're putting in, and we'd obviously request that from the buyer. We pay out all the costs on your behalf, and then obviously we pay out the seller on the day of settlement.
And with the seller, you're also liaising. So basically when the offer is accepted and it becomes a binding contract, the real estate agent will step back. The settlement agent for the buyer will then sort of take over,
Yes.
and for the seller will have a settlement agent as well, and they'll basically liaise with each other to make sure it's a smooth transaction.
Yeah.
To go to settlement, so that on settlement date everything is done and dusted and the keys get handed over and the transaction's complete. So with that in mind, why is it so important to engage in a settlement agent, but not just a settlement agent, a good settlement agent? Give me an idea of things that can go wrong.
Oh, goodness me. I think you need a settlement agent who is available so you can communicate with them on a regular basis, because things pop up along the way that you need to discuss and you need to communicate easily with. So the first thing I would look at is when picking a settlement agent is, can I get hold of my conveyancer easily? Are they available on phone? Are they available after hours if I needed? Because that's really important, because that slows down the process when you can't ask a question or you can't keep the ball rolling. So that's a big one. And secondly,
so if the process does sort of lag a bit, and you're not using a good settlement agent, or you decide, by the way, you want to do it yourself, don't go there. I did it once with my own personal property years ago. Thought I could do it. Never again. It's too hard, it's too difficult, it's too stressful. And also what a lot of people don't realise is that you also financially can, you're trying to save a buck by doing it yourself and end up more out of pocket. So if your settlement doesn't run smoothly and settle on time, you can be up for what's called penalty interest. And give us an idea, say the property is valued at, or you've purchased it for $500,000. What is penalty interest and how much can it get you out of pocket, buyer or seller?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because obviously settlement agents have access to all the government department platforms and websites that we need to legally put the property into your name. So when you act for yourself, you can do it, but it's a lot harder for you to be able to deal with those government authorities to make it smooth and quick. So obviously you have a set settlement date on your contract, and there are penalties if you don't settle on that day, and they can be quite costly.
So on $500,000, what would it be?
$124 roughly a day.
For a day.
A day.
So for every day over settlement you go, you're going to get charged $124 per day. And I think if it runs over a weekend, it gets backdated. So you're looking at big bucks. If you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't have a settlement agent that's all over it, it can be quite costly, and it's not really worth it. And that can be, as I said, for buyer or seller. So this is where I want to get to, making sure everything happens smoothly. Is it worth somebody who's just starting to look at purchasing a property or selling a property, is it worth them doing any homework to secure a settlement agent before they put an offer in?
Yeah, I love to speak to my sellers or buyers before they've actually made that jump and signed the contract of sale. There's just little tips that we can give them. If a seller approaches us, we can obviously just discuss with them about getting their loan ready to go in relation to discharging their loan, because some banks do take a long time to do that. So we would give them the heads up of the time frame depending on their bank.
So if there's a loan on the title, which is an encumbrance, it's obviously going to take a bit longer than if the title's clear, so
Correct.
to speak. Okay.
Yeah. So we just warn our sellers that their bank may take, say, 28 days, just so they don't just quickly sign a quick settlement date. Maybe the buyer's a cash buyer and he says, I want to settle in 14 days. If the seller didn't know how long a bank took to discharge a home, then they would be up for penalties because the bank...
So is it the same, say there's a caveat on the property, does that take extra long time, or is that about the same as just getting a mortgage off, removing a caveat?
Yeah, look, if the caveat's quite straightforward, you know, we're owed X amount of money and the seller knows he has to pay that money.
So the buyer doesn't have to freak out if there's a caveat?
Not at all,
okay.
no.
Because lots of people do freak out.
They do, yeah. No, the caveats are scarier than what they actually are. I think obviously someone's owed money somewhere along the line. We hope that we have enough money to pay out the bank and the caveator, so it's nice and smooth. It only gets complicated when there's probably a shortful of funds.
Okay, so securing a settlement agent before you actually sit down and writing up an offer is probably a good way to go. You can...
especially buyers, I think, as well. We can just give you the heads up of what conditions to probably...
So when you're sitting with the agent, you can go, right, I'm going to use c&rlaw, and you don't have to know phone numbers or email addresses. You can just say c&rlaw, and normally the admin departments of the real estate agents will source who it is and send them the contract. The other thing I wanted to cover as well is a lot of people think settlement agents and conveyancers only deal with property transactions, but you deal with a lot more than that. So give us an idea of other things.
So obviously we do your basic sale and purchase settlement transactions, but we also just deal with the title in general. So obviously subdivision is a big thing we do, applying for titles. So obviously if you own a big block and you want to split it into 3, we would then help you apply for fresh titles on all 3 lots. So that's a big thing we do. We also deal with removing or adding people onto the title. So if you've got a title in 2 names and someone's passed away, we would be able to get the required...
And that's important to get it updated, isn't it?
It is, it definitely is. So we would be able to get the required evidence from you and we would update the title.
So just on that, if there is someone who passes, so you've got an elderly couple and someone passes, why is it important that they actually get their title updated? Give me a reason why, you know, because I'll get a lot of people go, well, it doesn't really matter because I'll probably just, you know, pass away as well, and you know what, you know.
I just think it just is a lot cleaner. So when you go to sell and you've already updated the title is presented in a way where you are the sole owner and there isn't someone deceased on there.
So it's not going to delay things?
It's not going to, there's extra work involved if we've got a sale and we have to do extra documentation. It can be done, and it is done, but it's just a lot cleaner, a lot more time efficient.
And in a situation, say for example, a separation or a divorce, if somebody is given court orders as part of their settlement between husband and wife or partners, whatever it might be, and the court orders say that property needs to have that name taken off or added on or whatever it might be, it actually doesn't cost that much money to remove or add a name when it's in order.
Correct. And court orders are great. Obviously, there's
so give me an example. Sorry, I'm going to put Katie on the spot here. Give me an example. Somebody, they've separated or divorced, one name has to come off. What's the price of that? Because I know it's relatively...
Oh God, you'd be under $1,000.
Yeah, so it's quite affordable.
And that's including all your government charges. It's a very basic transaction because you already own the property. All we're doing is just either taking someone off or adding someone on. So if you've remarried and you'd like to add your spouse...
you don't have to pay stamp duty or anything if you're getting added on?
No, well, if you're adding your spouse on, as long as you're a principal place of residence and you're married or in a de facto relationship, then exemption is there.
I'm throwing Katie these questions, not rehearsed. But so she's put on the spot here. So we've got non-property. I wanted to talk to Katie also about on settlement day as well. The bizarre thing with settlements is that when the actual transaction happens, it takes about 2 minutes, I think, or something ridiculous. It's quite surprising, as I know I've done some in the past for myself, and it's really weird how it all works. But nowadays, with electronic conveyancing, it's even quicker, isn't it?
It's just changed our industry, so it's brilliant. So in the old,
it's called PEXA.
PEXA, So manual settlements happen in the CBD area, and it's, you know, you all meet up, you've got the seller's bank, the seller's settlement agent, buyer's bank, buyer's settlement agent, and you're all exchanging checks and documents manually.
It's bizarre.
And so now with PEXA was mandated in WA, and it's really just changed the way we do it. So now we set a time in the PEXA platform of what time you'd like to settle, and you can settle as early as 9 o'clock, which is brilliant for people who need to grab those keys and move in. So you can settle early as 9 o'clock, and you book the time in. Obviously, the PEXA platform, we would have all of the parties electronically involved on the platform, and we're all checking figures, and we're making sure everyone's getting the right money. We're making sure we're signing off on the documents correctly. That transfer document, the electronic version, is all correct. And once it locks in, so it locks, say we're settling at 9 a.m, it will lock at 9 a.m, and then you'll just see it sort of tick over electronically. It takes about 15 minutes.
Wow.
But the brilliant thing is, seller's money is normally with them in a couple of hours, and it's cleared funds, where before the old day was bank check in your account, cleared funds in 3 days. So sellers and real estate agents, which is great for you, are all getting their money immediately. The great thing for buyers as well, I find my vacant land buyers just love the PEXA platform, because you get your title deeds updated in your name within 24 hours, where if it's a manual settlement, up to 6 weeks. So buyers who are buying vacant land, the next day after settlement can take their title to their builder and say, start building, and they're not losing a whole month, you know, paying an extra mortgage repayment and not building on the property while they're waiting for the title.
So that's really interesting.
So titles are updated very quickly. So it's basically, we're sending out our end letter to our buyers, and we're enclosing title deeds in their names, which is brilliant.
Oh no, that's excellent. Well, we've covered quite a bit today, but I'd love to get Katie back for another chat, because there is so much to discuss with settlements and the process, and things that your average consumer out there does need to know when you're buying or selling a property. So where can we find you, Katie? Give everyone your contact details.
Lovely. So my mobile is 0411 562 616, and my office is located Unit 10W 817 Belia Drive in the heart of Cockburn Central. I've got a lovely little office in there. Anyone's welcome to drop in.
And people can contact you anytime as well?
Yes, absolutely. I'm available. I'm like a real estate rep, really. I'm on call to I just find my clients just feel more secure when they're able to get hold of me whenever they can. And same with my real estate reps. They love to be able to get hold of me. I've got a beautiful office. I've got about 3 or 4 girls working in there with me, and we really encourage people to come in, have a cup of coffee, sign all your settlement documents with us, and it's just a one-off appointment, and then you're obviously all set.
So if you've got any queries, please give Katie a call. Her details will be on this page as well, and you can message her or give her a call anytime. Even if you're not thinking of buying straight away, maybe in 6 months' time or 12 months' time, and you really wanted some answers to some questions, please give her a call. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Keep watching. As I said, we've had a couple of great special guests. I've still got Sandy Wormold from Stewart Title. She's coming on board next week for a chat. I've got Simon Withers talking about becoming a landlord for the first time, and lots more other special guests. So once again, thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Gorgeous girl. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.